Hey guys, today I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about bracing again. I know, it's getting old, right? Talk about bracing, but really show you some tips on how we can learn and get feedback to see if we're truly doing this the right way. So what I've got here is just a simple belt. The key here, and we'll use really thin bands sometimes too, but since the bands stretch, we don't get the same feeling as this no-give belt can really give us the sensations we're looking for. So let's review bracing, and then we'll talk about how to tie in using this belt to teach yourself or your clients how to brace properly, and then get them to use that for movement prep for the workout. So bracing, what are we talking about? Squeezing your butt cheeks, drawing your lower abs in, holding that Kegel, balance, even weight on your feet, externally rotating those toes out to feel that tension in the hip, rib cage down, and we're extending as tall as we can, keeping that rib cage down, and then rotating at the shoulders. So this specifically is focusing on how well are we drawing in with those lower abs and trying to avoid that stomach poof that we see a lot of people do. So when the rectus abdominis, your six-pack abs, take over, they're just the wrong muscles for the job. So we want these giant obliques and transverse abdominis and our lower abs to take over. That way we don't have this overworked hip flexor. We get the right muscles involved. So this is how a tip we can use with new people and advanced people. Something I like to do is I'm warming up for something if I notice myself struggling here. So we're just going to take this belt. I'm going to wear it, not like a regular belt. I'm going to wear it higher up. So I'm going to get it nice and tight around me. What I'm looking for is that if I push out into it, I should be able to get some tension, but I should also be able to draw in away from it and get some slack. Okay, so let's think about what we use with a typical weight belt and how that's used. So a typical weight belt, I'm going to draw in, I'm going to cinch it up really tight, and as I'm lifting, I'm going to push everything out into it. This works great with a weight belt, but if we use this same method to get tight without a weight belt, we're not protecting our spine and we're not bracing our core the right way. So we talk about functional movements all the time. Lifting with a weight belt is functional if you're training for a sport that uses weight belts. CrossFit, competing in CrossFit, Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting, strongman, these sports, you can get a little bit extra core support by using a weight belt, but the way we brace with a weight belt is completely different than how we brace without a weight belt. So if you're with the 99% of people who just live everyday lives and play sports, we need to learn how to brace the right way, and it's opposite. So what we're going to use this is kind of an opposite weight belt. So if we feel ourselves push into it, then we know our rectus abdominis have taken over and we're really driving out instead of drawing in. So all I'm going to do is work on drawing in. I can put my thumb here and wiggle it around to make sure I've got space. And then I can go through movements to see if I'm ever poofing out, and I can get that instant feedback from the belt that now I've got pressure in here. So I'm trying to keep pressure away from the belt. So we can start just by standing, working on breathing. I like to list out with all my clients everything we're focusing on. Drawing your lower abs in, Kegel, squeeze your butt cheeks, push your feet on the floor, rib cage down, stand tall, rotate up the shoulder. So I can work on just drawing into this brace position. If I was going to take a max load, I do all these things. I draw in, and then I breathe into that tightness, trying to get my breath down here. Okay? Then, wearing this belt, I can start squatting, and I can do a little pause, check to see if it's still loose. Is it still loose down here at the bottom of the squat? And what we see is as we start working with people, they're good at setting up, and then as soon as they start moving, now we're poofing, and pressing and bracing the wrong way. So drawing in, now we can work on, in our warm-ups, just bringing a lot of awareness. What I like to do with classes even is have everyone wear this during the warm-up, and not just specific for exercises, and then we can do pull-ups, we can do push-ups, we can do everything with this, but also as they're walking around to get their barbells, to get their plates, to set up their equipment, it's also a nice cue that when we walk, we should be drawing in too. So this is a great tool that we can use just to get that instant feedback on, are we doing a good job of drawing in and then bracing against that position, or are we using the wrong muscles, poofing out against this? So grab a belt. If you don't have one, you can use just a regular belt that you would wear with pants, normal stuff. You might have to make some new holes in it to get something up here. You can also use a jump rope and tie it around. You can use a string or a shoelace. So there's a lot of things. A band works okay. The reason a band is not amazingly great is it has that give. So something just solid gives you that feedback of, oh, I'm pressing out into it, I need to draw away. All right, grab a belt, practice, and I'll talk to you soon.